Hello everyone, I'm Rachel and I welcome you all to Executive Corner Expert Talks. Today I'm speaking with Anthony Aoun, Director and Founder of AffordAssist. They are helping to increase the uptake of home ownership in Australia with a unique and affordable deposit solution. Here at Kalkine, we bring you industry leaders, successful business owners, market and equity advocates, all under one roof to help you discover the insights of the stock market and help you understand how you can create multiple passive income streams. Welcome, Anthony.
Thank you for the warm introduction, Rachel. I hope you're well.
Great to be speaking with you today. Now, it's a very interesting company you have here. You can, with as little as $5,000, help people pay for the balance of a deposit interest-free later. So you're helping people get on the property ladder. Can you explain this a little bit more to me? How does it work? And can you tell me about the deferred deposit agreement?
I certainly can. So to give greater perspective and a little bit personal content, to buy a property in Australia, you need what's called a deposit. And to get a loan in Australia, you need what's called a deposit. That's a typical scenario as exists today. However, placing this barrier to entry, the deposit, has actually restricted, some commentators say, between 60 to 100,000 first-time buyers from getting to the market. So AffordAssist wanted to be part of the solution, and we came up with a way where you could pay for the balance of the deposit or the whole deposit after the purchase. So the term came in deferred deposit agreement. So where this could be valuable, of course, is without AffordAssist, typically a buyer would need 10% of the purchase price, both on the loan and the property purchase side. With AffordAssist, you mentioned $5,000. We've helped families with a little of $2,000, some as $10,000. And therefore, they don't need to borrow money from family or friends or sell assets or use their super. The balance is always paid interest-free, and it gives people an opportunity to break free from renting and take advantage of any property increases by purchasing today.
It sounds phenomenal. And what can you tell me about AffordAssist approved properties? How can they be helpful in the buyer's house hunting journey?
Well, because we've changed the way that properties are purchased, or we intend to change the way properties purchased, all of the properties that are provided on our approved list are done by property sellers who are okay to get the balance of the deposit paid after purchase. So having this approved list makes it easy for property buyers across Australia to be able to select something that is within their budget without needing to explain how does it work. We've done part of that work for them.
And so does your program also benefit sellers, developers and real estate agents?
Yeah, let's look at the Australian spirit, if you don't mind. I think I like to use that quite often. Imagine somebody who's been renting a property for 3, 4, 5 or more years, and the landlord now wants to sell the property. Well, they already know the credentials of the tenant, don't they? And they would say, you know what, why don't you give me the rest of the deposit later? In the case of developers, more and more are warming to the idea of what's called build to rent, where they give an opportunity for people that can rent their property in the first phase with in due course to buy it. In the case of agents, agents are using auction techniques and for sale techniques, but why not also offer an opportunity where vendors or property sellers that don't want 100% proceeds today and want to be a part of the Australian spirit to help a young family, a young couple into their first home, they can now offer the AffordAssist solution for vendors to sell their property as an alternative way.
So would you say that you are focusing mainly on younger potential home buyers?
I think when we first started off, we thought that was a demographic, and I think you'll be surprised that there are people in their 40s or early 50s that have never had an opportunity to own a home in Australia. And we talk about the great Australian dream, but it should not be a fantasy. It should not be only for people that are supported by family, friends, or other circumstances. It should be made available to more and more people. So I'm finding, no, it's not the case for young people. It's certainly not the case for people with low incomes only or for low price properties. It's really intended for the entire spectrum of the Australian market. So whether you're on 35, 40,000 a year or you're on 300 grand a year, you may not have the deposit today. And rather than continuing to waste money on rent for the next 2, 3 or 4 years, it gives you the option to get into the market today and take advantage of any potential market movements.
And Anthony, could you shed some light on AffordAssist governance process and how it relates to the lender's duty of care?
Yeah, when we first started the company, AffordAssist is not a mortgage broker, so I think it's important that we clarify that. We are not a lender, we're not a mortgage broker. But when we started researching to see how we could be a solution or help towards a solution for first-time buyers, the lending industry is amongst the strongest in the world that we have in Australia today, all lenders. So we have to understand why it's there, and we built a governance process not just to protect the lenders but also protect the buyers. So in our governance process there's a number of key considerations that every client goes through to make sure, first of all, that they're safe, right? We've introduced a governance solicitor to explain the DDA to the buyers, right? It's also critical that the additional payments are considered as part of the loan so the buyers can afford everything that they're purchasing at the moment: cars, personal loans, homes, and all that type of thing. Also, we consider the purchase price of the property is not altered or manipulated in any way. The loan terms and rates are not altered. So the governance process is in place really to safeguard buyers, prevent overzealous operators, and add another layer of checks to the loan process. Overall, this is a really good way for all stakeholders to know that if they're going to get their money later, then every possible effort has been considered to make sure the stakeholders are protected, all of them: the lenders, the vendor, and the purchaser.
Sounds fantastic. So where would you like to see the company in around 12 months from now?
Rachel, I mentioned earlier some commentators are saying that there's between 60 to 100,000 people are missing out on getting into their home in Australia per year. We feel that having a deposit solution will at least be a way forward and give people some options to be able to do so today. We want to continue our expansion in other states. Presently, we're in New South Wales, Victoria, and Queensland. We have a vision to help 4,500 clients per year, and we hope that the COVID has been a little bit difficult for us, but we hope to continue those communications with property vendors, property sellers, people who sell their own properties, and developers across Australia to make more and more properties available for buyers in all price categories.
Well, Anthony, it's been absolutely fabulous chatting with you today. That's very insightful, and I'm sure you'll help many more people get onto the property ladder. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Rachel, and thank you again for the Kalkine media team. I've always enjoyed speaking with you. Have a wonderful day.
Excellent. You too.